Hello everyone, and welcome. Melderon here, and today I will be your tour guide to some of the areas of Vanilla WoW that are not rarely traversed, hidden, or unfinished areas of Vanilla WoW. Today, it can be stated with confidence that Blizzard's games have a certain level of quality and polish. However, in the early days of WoW, when Blizzard was still testing the waters of the MMO genre, things were more rough and raw. Aspirations the development team had, like the Emerald Dream and the Dragon Isles, never reached fruition due to different development plans. Because of this, shadows of ideas past exist within the game and are accessible in Vanilla WoW. Some of these areas were not completely fleshed out during the time Vanilla was live. In fact, some of these zones did not become relevant until later expansions. Some quite quickly after Vanilla's tenure during the Burning Crusade, but some not until the Cataclysm revamp nearly 6 years after WoW's launch. Before we begin, I would like to state that I did not include areas that were very hard to reach, like Hyjal or Old Ironforge, or areas that are only accessible in game files like the old version of Hellfire Peninsula. If you want to explore some of these areas, check out Dunedain's channel as well as Haven Games. May he rest in peace. He will always be alive in our minds and hearts, brother. Links to their channels will be in the video description below. These areas we are about to explore are generally accessible by all classes, but the vast majority of these should only be accessed at high level, and perhaps with friends, as they are usually in higher level areas and contain elite monsters and bosses. Okay, enough chat. Let's start the tour, shall we? The first area we will be visiting is on the continent of Kalimdor in the sands of Tenaris. In extreme southern Tenaris is a large door guarded by elite earthen guardians. Beyond this door is fabled to be the Titan research facility known as Oldham. If you travel to the entrance, you will first notice an Explorers League member named Prospector Gunston, who is most likely studying the relics surrounding the entrance. There is a quest chain that starts in the Titan facility of Oldham and in the Badlands after defeating the last boss, Arcadus. After accessing the platinum discs found at the end of the instance, which are a form of data storage device, you learn of the origin of the dwarves, trogs, and earthen. You take these discs back to either Ironforge or Thunderbluff depending on what faction you are, and are then instructed to try to insert them into a pedestal outside of the Oldham gate. The quest givers have no idea what will happen, and send you to what may very well be your doom. Upon inserting the disc and dodging elite giants, you are greeted by a hologram that tells you that since you don't have the Oldham plates, you cannot access Oldham. Bummer. Then you bring this information back to the quest giver and inform them of your inability to access Oldham, and they say, well, nothing really. That's the end of the quest chain. And it was not until Cataclysm that Oldham became accessible as a zone. Was Oldham supposed to be a zone in Vanilla? Perhaps another raid? Only our imaginations can shed light on this. Our next area is the Isle of Dread, located to the south of Feathermoon Stronghold in Feralis. On the northern shore, which is the place most people will land, are large elven ruins crawling with Naga. If you explore deeper, you'll also find a cave that goes deep into the island that contains a Naga lair and their leader, Lord Shalzaru, who is an objective of an Alliance quest. However, some of the most spectacular sights are above the cliffs. If we travel southeast along the eastern coast, we can gain access to the inner jungle of the island. Here, many elite chimeras stalk the land. Their numbers seem to be endless as you carefully move about. One of these chimera is Lord Lackmarin, a level 62 elite. Until patch 1.9, the Gates of Ahn'qiraj, these chimera had no purpose, but this patch added them into a quest line for an epic cooking recipe and items to complete the Scepter of the Shifting Sands. Since not many players made it this far, this area was vastly unexplored for all of WoW's existence. Was there supposed to be more quest here? Perhaps an outdoor elite area? Perhaps we will never know. However, in the Cataclysm revamp of Azeroth, the isle was sunk. It is believed all chimera are dead, sinking to an aquatic grave, save one named Prince Lakma on the mainland of Feralis. Judging by his name, it may be safe to assume that the only survivor is none other than the son of Lackmarin himself. Next, let's move to the northeastern coast of Kalimdor, and to an island off the coast of Duskwalla Marsh called Alcaz Island. If you're thinking of Alcatraz, you're not the only one. This prison island is accessible by swimming from the eastern coast of Duskwalla. We first see a dock and a watchtower on the western shore. We also immediately notice elite monster presence on the island in the forms of Mornaga and Hydras. If we attempt to steer clear of them and enter the island proper, we notice a jungle habitat similar to that of Stranglethorn Vale. On the island are a number of internment camps, and farther in On the northern portion, a large half-destroyed tower with a summoning circle guarded by more Naga. This island, like the Isle of Dread, was not relevant in vanilla until the Gates of Ahn'qiraj patch, where seekers of the Scepter of the Shifting Sands were tasked in killing Dr. Weevil to access a chapter of the book Draconian for Dummies, an item required for one of the quests to obtain the Scepter. We see here the chopper of said doctor, guarded by elite Naga. Interestingly, the island has a major lore point in that it was the location in which King Varian Wrynn of Stormwind was imprisoned by the Defias Brotherhood. This area, like the Isle of Dread, could also have originally been created as an outdoor dungeon. After the bombing of Theramore in Mists of Pandaria, the island became deserted until Dr. Weevil returned to the island as a level 110 elite in Legion along with some bodyguards. To this day, the potential of this island has never been realized. Now we will travel north into the frozen land of Winterspring in northern Kalimdor to visit a truly interesting unfinished area known as Dark Whisper Gorge. You'll notice you are there fairly quickly as the snowy map tiles give way to dark and ashy ones. Also, the area is littered with elite demons including Doom Guards, Mage Stalkers, and Succubi. If you can navigate around the elite mobs, you will notice that the areas within the gorge are connected via small cave structures. There is also an interesting fell pool towards the end of the gorge, but the most interesting area is found within a cave to the northeast, which ends in a sealed-off raid portal. Yes, a raid portal. What kind of raid was this supposed to be? Were the heroes of Azeroth meant to fight the Aegis of the Burning Legion in vanilla? Perhaps we will never know. In Cataclysm, Dark Whisper Gorge became a questing area within the now new Mount Hyjal zone. It was filled with Twilight Hammer cultists, which are agents of the old gods. What happened to the demonic presence? Did the Twilight Hammer take it forcibly? All these questions are without answers. Next, we travel across the sea to the Eastern Kingdoms to visit the once great stronghold of the Wildhammer dwarves, Grim Batol. The mere sound of the name strikes fear into me even now. Located in the eastern wetlands, Grim Batol was the mountain fortress of the Wildhammer clan, similar to Ironforge for the Bronzebeards. During the Dwarf Civil War, the War of the Three Hammers, the Dark Irons attacked the fortress under the leadership of Moldred, the wife of the leader of the Dark Irons, Thurisen. During the battle, Moldred was killed, but not before leaving an evil taint on the fortress. Because of this, the Wildhammers abandoned Grim Batol and moved north into the hinterlands to found Airy Peak. During the Second War, the Orc invaders of Azeroth took the stronghold for themselves and imprisoned Alexstrasza and her Red Dragonflight for their dragon breeding program. After the destruction of the Dark Portal, the Mage Ronin freed Alexstrasza from her bondage, allowing the dragon to kill every Orc in sight. Now the Red Dragons control the once great dwarf fortress. Enter the grounds leading to the stronghold at your own risk, as gauntlets of red dragons guard the road to the entrance of the fortress. Upon reaching the Great Gate, we notice it is sealed with no way to enter. Was this supposed to be a raid during vanilla? That is unknown to us. However, during Cataclysm, Grim Batol became a dungeon accessible via the Twilight Highland Zone. Now, with the help of Deathwing, the fortress is under the control of the Twilight's Hammer clan, who are in service of the old gods. Our next stop is Purgation Isle, a lonely island located off the southwestern coast of Hillsbrad Foothills with an interesting seashell or spiral structure. This is the only unfinished area on the list in a relatively low-level zone, and before patch 1.10, the denizens of this isle were only levels 30 to 32, and no quest existed for or in the area. However, after 1.10, the undead became 57 plus elites, and dropped items for the tier 0.5 dungeon set upgrades. It is believed that an ogre necromancer named Cormac, found in Scholomance, is responsible for the former humans' unrest in death. Exploring the island, you notice former paladins, priests, monks, and mages, and upon working your way to the top, a destroyed tower. I believe this was supposed to be a potential questing hub for the Alliance coming from Southshore, but the actual answer we may never know. After the Cataclysm, the isle ceased to be haunted by undead and was taken over by Alliance forces. The next area we will visit is not an area at all, it's an entire zone. Ashara is located in northwestern Kalimdor, directly north of Orgrimmar, east of Ashenvale, and south of Winterspring. The area is named after the ancient High Elven leader Ashara, and was once home to the Night Elven city known as Zin Ashari. Now all that remains are ruins of the great city infested with Naga. As far as aesthetics, the zone has its own beauty, stuck in an eternal autumn with brilliant oranges and reds covering the landscape. Very few quests were available to each faction here, which only made you explore small parts of the vast zone. But in reality, there is so much more to explore. A teleportation portal that leads you to a mage tower high above the forest floor, a sealed entrance to Timbermaw Hold guarded by many furbolgs, a high elven outpost which is a quest hub for the Horde, many dragonkin of the blue dragonflight including Azuragos, the world boss, a broken statue of who can only be Ashara herself guarded by her loyal Naga, a helipad in the middle of the sea, and the Hydraxian Waterlords who provide the items necessary for molten core encounters. There is just so much and also so little in this fascinating zone. I highly encourage everyone to at least explore the sites Ashara has to offer. In Cataclysm, the zone was revamped and many quests were added, but the old Ashara will always have a special place in my heart. Now we will visit the most difficult area to explore on this list, the hidden troll encampment Shatterspear Village. Even though it is technically in Darkshore, this area is only accessible via Winterspring, and requires both a mount and a way to either negate fall damage or some type of slow fall. Mages and rogues will have an easy time with this, but other classes like paladins and priests shouldn't have much of a problem. Otherwise, get yourself some Noggenfog elixirs and pray for slow fall. If you would like a detailed description on how to reach this area, check out Supasoka's video, the link will be in the description. Upon entering the village, you will notice many trolls dancing in a group, troll drummers, and many troll huts and structures. There is also an eerie cave you can walk into with stone tablets and even some low-level named trolls. The trolls are attackable by alliance, but they will not engage you if you run too close. They are, however, friendly to Horde. This leads me to believe that perhaps Darkshore was once meant to be a contested zone with both Horde and Alliance bases, or possibly just a quest area for Night Elves. Just some theories. In Cataclysm, the area became accessible but did not have any quest content associated with it. Also, I did not show it here, but if you look up where the trolls are dancing, you will see a severed Tauren head hanging from a rope. Interesting to say the least. Before getting to my favorite unfinished place, I would like to discuss some honorable mentions. The reason they are not on the official list is because they are technically unfinished during vanilla, but were part of the very nice expansion, the Burning Crusade. The first is Deadwood Pass, located between Duskwood and Swamp of Sorrows. Here lies the Great Tower of Medivh, Karazhan. Still one of my most favorite places in all of WoW. The zone itself is populated by ogres, undead, and vultures that are high level. The undead that stalk the grounds of Karazhan are level 60. Unfortunately, the front gate is locked, but what a cool place to visit in your free time. Second is the Caverns of Time, located in Tenaris. This is the home of the Bronze Dragonflight and will become a dungeon and raid hub in the Burning Crusade. Outside of the entrance, there is a number of bronze drakes. One of them is named Tick, and I thought I would find another one named Tak, because, well, you know, clocks, since the Bronze Dragonflight is in charge of time. But when I found there wasn't one, I felt pretty stupid. Guarding the inaccessible door is Ahn'qiraj himself. He is red to you, but thankfully he will not attack you. A great place to hang out, for sure. Finally, we have the Blasted Lands and the Dark Portal. Much of the Blasted Lands, like the Tainted Scar, is somewhat unfinished, but the Dark Portal itself is not functional yet. Oh, and it's blue, not green, or red, thank the Titans. Walking up to the portal itself always gives me goosebumps, but unfortunately, if you try to walk through, nothing happens. Oh well, there's surely enough in vanilla to keep me occupied. Alright, it's time to go over my favorite unfinished area. The abandoned Turin Homestead. Okay, if you've never heard of it, don't worry, I don't think many have. This area is accessible via hugging the southern shore of Tenaris, and then heading west, following the shoreline until you reach the southwestern shore of Silithus. If you attempt this, just make sure to hug the shore as much as possible so you don't die of fatigue. Upon reaching the area, you will notice a Tauren farm, a Tauren hut, and a well, and 2 boats with Tauren art on them. This site is made even more eerie due to the large empty cave to the east filled with various bones. Nothing but bones and silence. What does it all mean? What happened to the inhabitant or inhabitants of the small homestead? And why is it built in such an obscure location? Well, I may have created a story to explain. Our story begins in Thunder Bluff. Oakenhorn, a shaman loyal to the ancestors, peace, and nature, challenged Cairn Bloodhoof himself, the Tauren chieftain, on his decision to join the Horde. He argued that Turin should put peace first, and not the wars of a race alien to Azeroth itself. Infuriated that someone would question his rule, Bloodhoof banished Oakenhorn from Mulgore and warned that if he or any Taurens see Oakenhorn again, he will be put to death as a traitor. Oakenhorn, baffled and full of sorrow, took his leave and left the city. He traveled back to Bloodhoof village to speak to his wife for the last time. He told her what had happened, kissed her, and bade her farewell. He honored the graves of his ancestors for the last time, and then took all of his earthly belongings to the eastern shore of the Barrens, and placed them in a boat he made from animal hide and wood. He sailed for what seemed like a lifetime, only stopping to hunt for food and gather supplies. Finally, he came across a beautiful piece of land with apple trees abound. He took his possessions and began to chop wood to make a hut. He sailed north to Veralis and hunted game for meat and hides, and eventually was able to construct a well for fresh water and even built himself a nice little hut. Even though his sorrow was deep, he finally began to feel some happiness once more. However, one night, he heard strange noises coming from the outside of the hut. He woke with a start and ran outside. To his dismay, Oakenhorn was immediately attacked by a host of slithering Silithids. Despite his best efforts, the brave Oakenhorn fell to the beasts. His body was torn apart, and what was left of him was dragged into the deep dark cave from whence the insectoid marauders came. Now Oakenhorn's remains are just one more pile of bones in the vile chasm. A sad end to an even sadder tale. The few voyagers who have come across the abandoned homestead claim they hear screams coming from the cave at night to the east. Could these cries be those of Oakenhorn's ghost, or the shrill chatterings of a million Silithid poised to attack the races of Azeroth? Are you brave enough to find out? Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Hey guys, I had a lot of fun making that video, and if you like this video, please leave a like below. If you enjoy this type of content, or are interested in other types of videos we make here at DefCamp TV, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos like this one, DefTalk interviews with WoW creators and enthusiasts, and Melderon's classic WoW vlogs. Also, join us on Discord to be part of the DefCamp TV community, and follow us on Twitter for video updates and more. Links are below in the description. Also, I would like to thank our amazing patrons listed here. If you would like to support us and the channel, consider becoming a patron. Your funds will go towards new software and hardware so we can create the best quality videos for you. A link will be in the description at the end of the video if you're interested. Okay everyone, thanks for watching, have a great day, and don't forget to keep on, keep bonding and grinding, baby. Oh yeah.